All right, guys, so we are excited to get started here. Just as a brief, awesome reminder, we're going to be learning from Alexi. She's a member of our group here. I just want to go through a quick bio on Alexi here. She has some really, really cool stuff that she's going to share with us. Her presentation is how to save yourself from dying one tactic at a time, which is awesome. I love that it was there. So Alexi is a former professional ballroom dancer and a marketing choreographer, known to her tribe as the Clarity Queen. Lexi specializes in helping entrepreneurs find the clarity in their marketing that will amplify their business to new heights. A student of marketing and a true nerd of all things business, planning, organization, and big picture. Lexi is excited to share her passion for marketing and helping us get the important message that we have out to the world. And just a last little bit of an intro here. We were just speaking before we hopped on here about some of the challenges and frustrations that we often have in this marketing funnels type of world where you have all these different things that you are busy worrying about and things that you have to get figured out, and how a lot of that can make it a challenge to really have a clear vision and have clarity in what you're doing. So I'm really, really excited to learn right alongside you guys. So without further ado, I will turn the time over to Lexi.
Awesome. All right. Excited to be here. And I'm the official presenter. Let's try presenter. I'm the official presenter today. But Michael is also here and he is joining as well. And so he'll be adding his few bits. And so I guess you want to just go like this? You want to go that direction?
We can pass it over.
Okay, we'll just pass. We'll do the pass thing.
I'll scoot over.
Okay, sounds good. And so that's a little bit of a surprise for you guys today. We are business partners in marketing choreography, and we are both the face of it. And so it works out that we can both be here today. And so we are both going to add our 2 bits to this. Michael is typically the one that likes to talk a lot more. And so it will make the presentation a little bit longer, which will be awesome. I'm usually the one that likes to be like, bam, straight to the point. So you'll get a little combination. You'll get a little story time from Michael, and you'll get a little bit of like, okay, straight to it. So that's kind of just how we work in everything that we do. So today, like Jerem said, we are talking about how to save yourself from dying one tactic at a time. I found this GIF and I absolutely loved it because I oftentimes have felt this way as I have gone down the rabbit hole of marketing and tried this challenge and tried this webinar and done a book funnel and tried every funnel out there, and then none of them worked and I couldn't quite understand what was happening, and there I was lying on the sidewalk going, what is going on? So hopefully if you've ever felt this way, then I hope that we can clear some of that up, because we have found our way out of that, so that's good. So we hope to bring some insight to you today. The agenda today is, of course, a bit of an introduction, and we're going to talk about the one tactic problem. We're going to talk about marketing choreography and the VCVO framework. We're going to talk about how to stack systems in your business using the MC framework and a simple wagon wheel. We're going to talk OLE systems. We have some action items for you. And then, of course, we'll do a little pitch for you, just a little one, but we will do one. And then with whatever time we have left, we would love to do some workshopping with you guys and just go through your specific systems and get you guys on track. So that is the game plan. Goal for today is to show you how a system is the success behind the glamour of the funnel, and that you should have flow between your different systems. So we'll talk about that just a bit. Literally, that was not the picture that was supposed to be there, so that's fun. I just forgot to change it, but so that's a random girl that has nothing to do with it. So moving right along, let's get acquainted with Michael and myself, and you get my version of the story today. Sometimes he tells his version. I know I said he was the storyteller, but I am actually going to tell my side of it, so that will be good. And some of you guys know us and have seen us, and you've seen like Michael chat a lot, and he's taught before, and so it'll be fun to kind of give you the background, because everyone's like, how are you connected? What's happening? We're not married. We are business partners, but this will give you the background. So, and I am a student of Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels, and so it is story time. He always teaches to do stories, so we're jumping into that. I started coaching with MJ, Michael Johnson.
What happened to my hair?
No, his hair's
Where
gone
did it go?
now. When I was 12 or 13, I was actually older in this picture, but I did start coaching with him, and he was teaching me how to be a better ballroom dancer and a champion at life. He is very good at that. So this is me and my partner. Good times. We were babies there. And
Winning from an early age.
we were winning from an early
Yeah.
age. And so then my senior year of high school, I actually did an internship with Michael. I really wanted to just get out of school. And Michael had some better ideas, and we actually wrote a book. And it's called The First Step, A Competitive Guide to Ballroom Dancing. His name is on it, but I did do a lot of the work. So my name is in it. And so
She did most of the writing.
I did most
The
of
good
it.
news is this is recorded.
I know,
There's
exactly.
proof.
So that's a little bit of a background. I then in college, I was still dancing and I was traveling for dance. I started running Michael's dance studio and working for him. And you can see this is actually in our dance studio. And I just kind of became his right hand in all things business. And this is mostly for dance at the time.
Just for the record, she is on my right now.
That's how it works. So just a couple pictures there. And then one day Michael came to me and was like, I really want to change the world. I want to impact the world a bit more than I'm doing with dance right now. And I was like, all right. And he actually had a company called Magic for Life back in the day, and he wanted to bring that back. And so next thing I knew, I was running operations for Magic for Life and for this personal development company. And then around that time, Russell Brunson came into our world, and just as he's come into many of your guys' world, he came into our world, and down the rabbit hole we went into marketing. And I think it's that moment that you're like, hey, I want to impact the world more, and I want to make a bit more of a difference, that all of a sudden Russell shows up and you're getting ClickFunnels and you're going down that rabbit hole. So down the rabbit hole we went into the online marketing world. We started with the perfect webinar script, and we built this funnel, and of course it didn't work because we had no idea what we were doing. And so we built out, we were like,
Ugliest
oh,
funnel
it's
ever.
terrible. And if I took you on in the inside, like the product was $214 and we were doing a webinar. And so if you know anything about webinars, you're going, what? what are you doing? It was very confusing. So we went down that path, but we followed that script. Like we had that script down to the T. So that's perfect webinar script. And then, we just kept doing product and product and product after product. And
Down the rabbit hole.
yeah, it was down the rabbit hole. And so Russell wrote a book. And so we said, oh, we need to write a book and we need to do a book funnel, because everybody was doing a book funnel and Russell was doing a book funnel. And so it's like, oh, that's like the thing to do, right? Like that's how you make a lot of money, is you do a book funnel, free plus offer. And so there was no book that existed at this time. So then Michael decided to write a book, and I helped edit it, and the book came to life. P.S. It is a really, really great book. We didn't do the right marketing around it and didn't understand how it led to our main core offer and all that good stuff. But it is a really great book, and you can go and get it on Amazon. The book funnel actually isn't up at the moment, so it's
wise enough to take that.
it's
one
in
down.
ClickFunnels, but we didn't understand all of how it worked, and so there's not good upsells and there's no good systems behind it to actually make money. So that is the story behind the book funnel. Again, we built a lot of products and a lot of different funnels. I mean, this is just some of them. It's just like stacks and layers of different funnels, and none of them were working very well. And we couldn't really understand why they weren't working. We had some successes along the way. That would be crazy if we didn't, because why would we keep going? But for the most part, it was just, okay, let's build this tactic, and let's build this one, and let's build this type of thing, and let's build this, and let's build this product, and build the whole thing out and not actually market it and all that good stuff. So
Nobody does that, right?
Nobody does that. So we built a lot of products and a lot of funnels. Then during that time, like we built a lot of funnels, we went down that path, and then we're like, why isn't this working? And then I decided I wanted to be the face of a company. And so like, I don't know why, but I decided, okay, like I want to do my own thing. And so at that point, we had really figured out the tech. We knew how to build the tech, right? We knew how to build a funnel. We had all of that down. There was no problem whatsoever with that at all. So I specifically started helping people with the tech of ClickFunnels, and anybody that had like this little problem, I went in and I was like, I can help you. I got that. And then people were like, I'll pay you for that. Okay, cool. And so I started getting paid to do that, and started creating a Facebook group called the Funnel After Party Community and all that good stuff. So started helping people with tech. And then I absolutely felt horrible because I realized that there was a major problem going on. And the major problem was I was helping them with the tech of their funnel, but they didn't actually have success. Like the funnel technically worked. If somebody went through it, everything worked properly because I knew. Then none of the pieces around it actually worked. And so I realized, they are going down the same path as us, and the same thing is about to happen to them.
Then she got a conscience.
Yeah, then I felt really bad. I was like, I'm getting paid to help them with their funnel building, but they're not going to make any sales and they're not going to get any leads because there's no marketing around it. And I felt really, really bad. I truly did. And so it was around this time that, we started getting more coaches and getting more help for the Magic for Life side of things. And with starting to work with people and starting to see the funnels, it was like, I can see the problem. I can see why none of our stuff was working. And it took, starting to help other people for me to go, I get it, right? I understand what the heck is happening. And so what we figured out is we were missing the systems behind it. We were missing how the small systems connected to the medium systems and connected to the whole machine. And that's what we figured out. In the mix of that, of course, that's the short version, but mostly that's what happened is we started to figure that out, and that there needed to be a connection between all the different systems, because we could build the funnel and we could build some email sequences around it, and we had the tactics down, right? And we knew that if somebody went through it, it was going to work great, but there were just a lot of things around it that were not working out. And so systems came into play. We realized there was so much more than just a funnel, and the funnel was indeed just a tool in the mix of it. And so we wanted to make sure that we had all of the pieces that were going around it. And so marketing choreography was born. And this is a framework to help people actually build a system, to help people understand all of the details that go behind the scenes, and to connect the systems. So
is it like iteration 4 or 5?
Yeah, for sure. There were lots of different things that happened, but the marketing choreography framework was born. And also another thing that we realized in the mix of this is that marketers, there were no, let me back up. In dance, we have people that come in and are choreographers for us. And so they take our steps and they take our things and they take our assets and they take all of these things and they put it into this piece of choreography that is going to work, and that's going to work in the overall whole of what's happening. And so what we realized is that marketing was missing this as a whole. It was missing choreographers. And so we were like, you know what, we need to be the choreographers, and we need to teach people how to be choreographers as well in their own businesses, and to come in and actually choreograph these things together, rather than, okay, let's try this tactic and it's a lead magnet, but what is that lead magnet going to? That's great, build this lead magnet, but what's the next thing? Because that's not going to create any revenue for you, because that's supposed to be a loss leader. So there's just a lot of things that were learned along that time. And so here was this marketing choreography framework. And we started testing it on people, the typical that we are taught. Start testing it on yourself, start testing it on people. And so we started doing that, and it was working. We're like, okay, we got something here. And so then I told you about Magic for Life, and then marketing choreography was born, and the two joined forces. And so now you have Michael and I, who are both the faces of the marketing choreography company. And We realized that entrepreneurs also needed help with their mindset. And so we threw that into the mix with Magic for Life, which is a personal development company. And now that is a part of our program, is making sure that the mindset is covered along with the marketing. So built a fun community. We have our marketing choreography official community. It was the funnel after party. Didn't want to really be the funnel girl anymore. I was pretty done with that. I didn't want people coming to me and going, will you build my funnel? No, I will not build your funnel. I did that. It didn't work. I felt really bad. I'm not going to build your funnel for you. But I will help you with your marketing. So change the name, marketing choreography, specifically helping experts, coaches, and consultants who know they need to impact the world with their information and expertise, and built a pretty fun community, growing every single day. I mean, I think in the last week, I think we've gotten like 100 new members. So it's pretty cool how fast it's growing. And we also have our marketing choreography studio, and
It's all organic too.
it is organic. So that's fun, not
which is
paying
fun.
for it. Lots of fun. So that is the background. That's the story. And I actually did the story. What the heck? This is weird for us. That's usually,
backwards.
yeah, it's so backwards. So I tell you all that because one-time tactics are not going to cut it. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. A lot of times it's going to be a shiny object syndrome, and it's not going to work. So you want to talk a little bit more about the one-time tactic problem?
Oh my gosh, you said it. The shiny bauble syndrome is a rough one for us entrepreneurs, especially if you're selling info products, because you look at everything that people are doing out there and you go, I can do that for my product.
Yeah.
Oh, I should build a challenge. Oh no, wait, summits are the hot thing. I should do a summit.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, a free plus book funnel is the thing. No, wait, we need to have a lead magnet challenge. Okay, I need like 20 lead magnets. Let me build those for the next 2 months. And we started to realize that while none of those were wrong, none of them
they work great.
They're all great pieces to a bigger
Yeah.
machine. But we realized that from the people we were working with and the people we were helping, they were killing themselves one tactic at a time. And that's
Yeah.
where that name came from, because each tactic that they see or got sold on from the really good marketers of their businesses out there,
Who have a really good core product and
a good
understand all
core
their
system,
and have all of their numbers figured out
Yeah.
and understand exactly what they are getting people to. Like, that's the key, right? They understand all of those things. And so it makes sense. Like, I can add all of these little things to it, but when you don't have that, or you don't realize that you need that, and you're just copying that one thing, a lot of times there's a lot of problems that come with that. And you're just killing yourself one tactic at a time. And it's killer to build a summit. And we built a summit, and it was a
Yeah.
beautiful summit. And we
had a lot of success.
we got a ton of leads from it. We got a ton of VIP passes. We made a good amount of money on this, actually. And then, but we didn't understand how it fit into our business. And so it was like, okay, we built that summit. That's really awesome. That about killed us. And then we didn't evergreen it. Then we didn't take all of those leads and put them into a system. Like
We had
those
no,
leads.
no core
Oh my God,
product.
we had
in
no
the end
core
to
product.
send them to.
We're like, oh, we need to do the summit because everybody's doing a summit and apparently it does really, really great things. Okay, let's build this summit. And we had that down. Like, it was really great. It worked really well. I mean, I think it made like,
I don't know, it made like close to 50 grand.
yeah, like it made a lot of,
Yeah.
and so we're like, oh,
First
good,
run
cool.
out. And,
Yeah, it was really, really successful.
and that was without a core product to send it to
Yeah.
actually capitalize on the
Yeah,
leads that
we
had.
always say it was like our $1 million mistake because it easily could have been.
Oh yeah, especially by now.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
leading people from the summit, and then we would have actually gotten them to a core product, and then we would have actually taken them through a system, and then we would have like kept selling those leads because we got like 2,000 leads. Like, this was stupid, right? But it was definitely the one-time tactic problem. So we're going to dig into why we're not going to do tactics anymore, and we're going to think about things in systems. So let's just jump into this a little bit and talk about tactic versus strategy. And this is like the common, you want me to, okay, I'll take it back.
Till you need me.
Okay, peace out. So tactic versus strategy, just a little bit on this. When you look it up, you go in, it's like tactic, an action or strategy carefully planned to achieve a specific end. Okay, so it has the word strategy in it. Cool. And then you've got strategy, a plan of action or policy designed to achieve a major overall aim. Okay, cool. And then you go and you start like looking it up, and everybody has their different ways of thinking about a tactic and thinking about a strategy. And mostly I just got really, really confused. And every time I try to separate tactic and strategy, I'm like, what's actually happening? Because I get really confused on the differences between them, and everybody kind of has their different meanings. And so what we're going to do instead is we are going to define them, and we are going to define it based on systems, because systems are our thing. And so we're going to come in and we're going to think about it in just a little bit of a different way. And so just put this in your brain for now. If you want to think about a tactic and a strategy in a different way later, that's fine. You can do that. But this is how we're going to define it for this presentation today. So a tactic, we're going to think about it as a small system. A strategy, we're going to think about it as a medium-sized system. And then we're going to add a machine into the mix, which is going to be our global system. So we've got our small systems, we've got our medium systems, and we have our global systems. And when we say strategy, okay, this is a medium system that we take someone through. A tactic is a small little system. And you want to give some examples of each of those? You're always really good at the examples.
Yeah. I think like a tactic could just be like a quick little small lead magnet, or it could be like, oh, here's a tactic, go and message somebody that just commented on your post on Facebook. That's a cool little tactic. When you start to deal with that and you want to turn it into something bigger, that isn't going to cut it. And if you don't keep track of those things, and if you don't have some sort of system in place, that one little tactic will kill you. Right? Oh, I got on Facebook and I started looking for posts to comment on. Oh my gosh, you could die in one night commenting on all the people's posts and thinking that somehow that was going to get them to your core product.
But it's a small little system, right?
But
You're
it's
going,
small,
okay, I'm going to comment on their post, and that's a thing that you're doing. It's a small system and it's a small action that's happening.
So then you take a strategy and you go, well, what's a strategy? Well, we're going to give you a really, really cool system that we made. That was our marketing choreography system that we flashed earlier. And a strategy is a little bit more of a medium-sized system where, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't giving you the entire system. They're giving you two pieces or one piece of the system. We're going to show you about that in a second. But a strategy could be like a summit or a free plus book funnel, or
and having like that full complete
a prospecting system, which oftentimes isn't even considered in the funnel things. But you could have a prospecting system. You could have some type of organic outreach system. You could have a Facebook ads system. You can have different types of systems. We're gonna break that all down and make sure that it's absolutely clear tonight, because you got the clarity queen here. And then of course the machine, which is our global systems, is a little bit more of the other side of the fence, behind the curtain, so to speak. Remember, we're dancers. So what you don't see behind the curtain is you don't see everybody that's getting dressed and stretching on the floor in their sweats with their hair not quite right and their makeup not even done yet, and people are wearing, whatever, and then all of a sudden they walk out on the floor, everything's perfect, their hair's perfect, the makeup's perfect, the costumes are perfect, and that's what you see. There's so much of what's going on in the marketing that we use as the shiny bauble syndrome, where we go out and we look at people, because we're funnel hacking, and we see what they're doing, and it's the shiny, wow, look at how cool that is. But we have zero clue of what their global machine is. Yeah. So Tony Robbins comes out and does a free plus book funnel because Russell convinced him.
Right? And he made it for him.
And you think that he's making millions of dollars. Well, he may or may not. He may have spent that $1 million to get you to that funnel, but he has a massive global system behind it that he understands, and his team understands, that they're going to work you through, because you're going to get invited to buy a ticket to his UPW. Then you're going to get invited to his 10 master systems in the background, and then you're going to go into the background and he's going to invite you to his inner circle, and it goes on and on and on. So his expense that he paid on the front end doing what, for his size of a company, a tactic, right, which was his free plus book funnel, because that could fit into the tactic category if you're huge like Tony. His one little tactic was his play at spending the most money to acquire you as a customer. And that's what his play was. But on the back end, he's making millions from his global system.
Yeah, this also happens a lot of times with like challenges when you see something like the One Funnel Away challenge, and everyone's going, okay, the One Funnel Away challenge, okay, he's charging $100 for that. Awesome. I could potentially get $100. Like I can make money off of my challenge, right? But what you don't see is on the back end, he has his whole system set up that's going to sell you his books and is going to sell you ClickFunnels and is going to lead you down the road to potentially go to Funnel Hacking Live and then to get to Comma Club coaching. And all of those things are set up. And One Funnel Away was a great way to get people in the door, but people see that as like a product. So that's another thing.
And he didn't make any money on it.
And he probably didn't make any money off of it because
Until
sometimes, well, a lot of times, like we're making money, like affiliates are making money on it. I've made money off of One Funnel Away, right? And the whole $100 came to me. So he's literally not making any money off of it, but a lot of people won't even see that, like they can't even grasp that idea. So anyway, that is how we're going to talk about tactics, strategy, and machine today, because you look it up and there's so many different things and we're just going to define it. So moving right along, like we said, everything is a system, and I do love this definition. I think it's really cool. A set of things working together as parts of a mechanism or an interconnecting network. That's really cool because it's like, okay, now you're starting to think about how things work together rather than you're thinking about this thing and you're thinking about this thing and you're thinking about this thing. It's like, okay, I have this thing. How does it connect to this thing? I have this thing and how does it connect to this thing? So that's why we really like systems a lot. And if you can't tell, we like really love it. And one of these times in our presentations, we are going to have somebody count the amount of times we say system in a presentation because it's a lot. One of these times in the beginning, I'm going to remember, and then somebody can count it, and it's going to be like hundreds. So anyway,
Oh, baby.
so we're going to move into what we call VCVO, and VCVO is a system. And it is a system that includes marketing elements, all the marketing elements that are important. And so a lot of times when we're putting together a system, like not all of those pieces are there, but when we put together VCVO specifically, it's including all of those necessary pieces that need to be there in one system. Because sometimes it's like, okay, you've got your offer and you have maybe you're really good at getting leads in the door, but then there's other pieces that are missing in the middle. And so, yeah, and more on VCVO.
Well, we can jump into
We'll
it
just jump into it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
because we can explain it from.
Okay, cool. VCVO. So here's VCVO. We had flashed the map earlier. So this is like the top portion of the map. We have the bottom portion, which is all the little details that go into this, because as many of you know, like within a strategy, there's like 10 things that are, okay, 10,000 things that need to happen with that strategy, right? Yeah, all the different tactics that need to happen. And so underneath it, it's like, okay, you got all the details and all the different tactics that need to happen. But sometimes people get caught up in those things and don't actually understand what their overall strategy is. And so this is one strategy, and we say strategy, which you now know strategy equals medium-sized system. And so we're looking at this as a medium-sized system, and then we'll show you a little bit more of a global system, but we're looking at this as a medium-sized system. If somebody ran, one VCVO, they're probably going to have success, and we know they're going to have success. We've had lots of people that have had success with one VCVO, and then it's about how to connect that from there. So VCVO, we have the noise vehicle on the front, we've got the noise campaign, we've got the sales vehicle, and then we have the product and the offer. And so when we're saying V, it's the vehicle portion of it. I don't know, NCS, it didn't sound right. So VCVO is what the framework is. And so we took the two vehicles and then we didn't leave the front portion of it on there. So you want to dive into it a little bit more?
Yeah, let's jump in.
Okay, I'll let you
So
dive
when
in.
we start talking about the noise vehicle, well, actually, let me backtrack for a second. When we she's like, what are you doing? When we teach this and we work with people, although we have presented this linearly, one of the things that we found out the hard way after much trial, tribulation, blood, sweat, and tears is that this isn't linear. this process is not a linear process. And that was really difficult. And I think the part of marketing that really presents itself as difficult for especially new people coming in, but especially but in addition, the people that have been in business for a while and are saying to themselves, why isn't this working? I'm doing what they told me. Why isn't it working? It's because we tend to want to look at things linearly. And this is normal human behavior. We want to see things in a straight line. Well, what you're seeing from the left to the right with the noise vehicle, noise campaign, sales vehicle, product, and offer is how a customer is going to come through it. But what we're going to do to build it and to think about it is we want to think about it the exact opposite way. Well, kind of. We're not going to necessarily go exact opposite. We're going to start with our product and our offer. Without a solid product and offer, we're not going to have success. You have to understand a couple things, and this is where the rabbit hole starts, and we're trying to prevent too far down the rabbit hole. You have your typical value ladder. If you've been in the world of marketing any bit of time, you've heard of a value ladder. And the thing about a value ladder that was ridiculously confusing is that they talk to you about a value ladder, and you're immediately going global, and you're thinking about your business, and you're going, okay, what's the bottom and what's the top? What's my high ticket offer? What's the stuff in the middle? And then all of a sudden they dig into your funnel. And what we found over and over again working with clients is that they were thinking that their global value ladder was what they had to put in their funnel. So they were doing a free offer on the front and going straight to their $2,000 offer. And we're like, no, that's not
literally,
it.
literally had someone come to me, cool guy. And he's like, okay, like my funnel's not working. All right, cool. Let's dive into that, my friend. And so we dive into it, and he shows me his funnel. Like, okay, so I've got my juice thing on the front, my like juice cleanse. I'm like, okay, cool. And so he tells me the price point. I think it's like 27, 37, something like that. And he's like, okay, on the middle, I have like this $100 something. I'm like, okay, cool. We're doing decent, right? I mean, there could be a lot of reasons why this funnel isn't working, but you really just want me to look at the funnel right now. So we're literally looking at the structure of the funnel, not how you're getting leads right now. And then we get to the second upsell. It's like, okay, I got my $2,000 product. You have your $2,000 product on the, okay, cool. And so you're going from this $100 thing, and then you're jumping straight to your like core offer right here. And it's on the second upsell. And so this is the main thing you want to sell in your business. The main thing you want to sell, but you understand when you have a funnel, like people drop off, right? Like this is not the main thing. You should not put the main thing here, but you should take somebody through that. You get the lead, you're like recovering some costs. And then later you're potentially going to make some money because you're going to push into that core thing. Okay. So literally this happens. So sorry.
So we take that value ladder, and there's two uses for it, one on a global scale and one on your funnel level. And this was a huge eye opener for us as we started to see clients like this that were having troubles. So your funnel, if you're looking at it in a small tactic sort of way, your funnel will have its own value ladder, and that's it. So you have your value ladder for your business, and you have your value ladder for your funnel. So here we're talking about it in terms of a strategy. So when we look at this, we're going, well, we don't know what strategy you're going to use. We don't know what tactics you're going to use in this, but let's figure out what your core offer is for this particular strategy. So in order to do that, we kind of need to know what your global value ladder is. And then we can work down and say, okay, your core offer here is this. And now we need to build out this VCVO system for your core offer, or for your high ticket offer, or for your front end offer, whatever that is. So that's a huge piece that'll make a difference, right?
And if this is for the core offer, so say this VCVO is literally for the core offer, that's great. That's fabulous. We're building it to get to that core offer. But this could also be going like, the offer could be your lead magnet. And then you have to figure out from there how you're going to connect it to the core offer, because that's a piece that gets missed a lot. It's like, okay, I create that cool VCVO, I create this lead magnet, that's awesome. But then you have to figure out how to connect it to the core offer from there. And we'll show that just a little bit.
Yeah, we have a cool visual for you to see how that works. So let's assume that you have your service or product offer here, and we know what we're going to do with it. Now, most people jump straight to the sales vehicle, and you can. Now, this is dependent on each of you. Each of you, we might have to go a slight different direction. This is the reason that we built this system was because we, having come from the dance world, we realized that when we go to do choreography for somebody, we have to take into account whether they're a pro or whether they're a beginning student learning to dance for the first time. We also had to take into account if they were like a mid-range couple. And the mid-range couple is going to have different talents. Now, along the way, if the beginning couple is just starting, they have no core skills.
Nothing.
So we have to work with that and build choreography around someone that has no core skills. So I want you to keep that in mind for a second. Now, if I'm working with my pro couple, my job going in as a choreographer is to look at that pro couple, and I usually have them dance for me. I usually talk to them about their assets. What things can you do? Can you hold your leg above your head? Can you do the splits? Do you have great feet? Do you perform really well? Do you suck at performing? What things do you suck at? Right? We got to take that into account, because if I'm going to be a great choreographer, I have to say, I'm not going to put the things you suck at in your choreography. This was huge. And
if you suck at sales calls, then we probably shouldn't put the sales calls in your choreography.
Yeah. And it's
maybe not
fine
your
if you
thing.
want to get better at them, but you don't get better at them on the floor while you're competing. That's the wrong time to get better at them. Although a lot of people believe in that concept. So
Or no way am I able to hold my leg above my head.
give us some time, we'll figure it out. No, but the thing is that as choreographers in dance, we got this a long time ago. We got it ages ago. We came into the marketing and people kept telling us to do things that we sucked at.
Yeah.
Nobody realized that we sucked at it. Why? Because, well, nobody was really talking to us. We were just seeing some front end lead magnet type product that was meant for the masses. So
And was it meant for somebody that like probably had their business a little bit more figured out. Like
No doubt.
I think that's when it succeeded for people, and that's when it was like, I'm
Right.
one funnel away. Well, it's probably because there were a lot of pieces that were already figured out beforehand.
Yeah.
So,
And that's a common thread if you go
Yeah.
look at most of the stories behind it.
you're like, oh, you like had all of that already. No wonder. No wonder
So
it works.
we've got the product or service on the front end. So that's always where we begin, unless it's already taken care of. Now from there, we oftentimes are going to try to figure out the sales vehicle. So we're kind of almost going backwards.
Yeah.
If they have a sales vehicle in mind, we go, okay, great. We attach to that. We see if that's a skill set that they have.
Yeah.
If you are really great at one-to-one sales, then we need to stick with that. And that's the type of sales vehicle we need to use. It's not always a funnel. Funnels are a great tool.
Yeah.
There are a lot of really great tools. And I told Jerem this right before we started this presentation, but that you can go to Home Depot and go for a drill. And when you go look at the wall full of drills, there are literally 50 to 100 different drills.
Yeah.
You can pay thousands for a drill, or you can pay $15 for a drill. If all you're wanting to do is drill a hole, well, then how much money do you want to spend on your drill? You decide. It's up to you. It depends on your circumstance, right? But the fact of the matter is, a drill is a drill and a hole is a hole. So what we need to understand in your sales vehicle is
How are you going to make the
how are you going to
sales?
make the sale? Like,
What is
are
that?
you good at it? I had a conversation with a friend of ours, an acquaintance, I should probably say, more than anything. You have the ability to sell one-to-one. When that ability is now expired, then you've got to start looking at selling one-to-many. Now, if you have a great skill at selling one-to-many, then maybe you skip the one-to-one because you have a great skill at doing that. But if you're no good at selling to a person, then it might be a bad idea to start with one-to-many, which
Yeah.
oftentimes people are led to that place. So we've got to figure out the right sales vehicle, and there are lots of them. In fact, there are many, many ways. Going back to the old dead marketers, they had to do it the hard way. They didn't have the internet. So there's all the way from the old school versions to the new tech versions for your sales vehicle.
Right.
Then we realized, hey, we need a noise campaign, Why? Well, because we've got to actually go and use those noise vehicles. And this is a huge distinction. So many people combine these two together. We want you to split them apart. And part of the reason we want you to split them apart is because a noise campaign is no good without a vehicle to actually make that noise in. A noise vehicle is no good unless you have some type of campaign or way to make noise.
Right.
You need them. They are both important, but they are different. You can use Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to make or to have a noise campaign, or you could just choose to do one of them, which is highly recommended if you're newer in the game. If you're farther on down the game and you have some help, some VAs, a team member, maybe you can take on 2, 3, 4 noise vehicles. But one of the worst thing you can do is if you're a solopreneur, you're there working on your own to take on 3, 4, 5 noise vehicles thinking, well, I'm just going to make one piece of content and get it out on all of them. Yeah, you'll spend every day, all day trying to get your noise out on all of those noise vehicles that you'll miss some massively important parts of the entire system. Choose one, figure out how to maximize that one. And if you have the capacity to add another, cool, you can do that. There are lots of ways to add and scale, but this conversation right now is not about scaling, although these systems that we're teaching you about are beautiful at helping entrepreneurs scale. So this is the beauty of this system. And that's why we built it like this. We built it because we knew we had to find the core components of what was going on in the marketing, make sure that they were built off of sound principles, and then make sure that these sound principles were put into a system that we could utilize depending on where you were at in your journey. Are you brand new? Cool. Are you in business for a while? Cool. Do you have systems and we've got to find your holes? Cool.
We can utilize that.
We can utilize that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's easy. So if you're a bigger company and you've been making money and you've been looking at what you're doing and you're thinking, gosh, I can maximize this. I can maximize what I'm doing, but holy cow, how do I dig through all the principles without just getting shiny bauble syndrome again and heading one direction? Well, that's okay. Let's look at your system and we'll utilize the map so that we can actually go in, figure out where the holes are based off of some of these cool basic principles that are mapped out. Now, again, they're components, and that's what we love about it. So that's the overview, the top level of the noise campaign. Oh, I didn't say much about the noise campaign. Once you have a vehicle that you know you're going to use, one of the easiest noise campaigns, and you've probably heard this, so I hope I'm preaching to the choir, but one of the easiest noise campaigns is to start with your story. That's why everybody preaches it. A great story is going to help you. A master story is what you need. The hero's 2 journeys, Epiphany Bridge script. You need a story. Tell a story. You can sell through the story, right? So a great way to start with your noise campaigns is to understand and know your story. That is one way to do a noise campaign, right? One of my favorite stories that I heard was about Barnum. You remember the show Greatest Showman? It was all about Barnum, right? And his whole, well, I mean, they dramatized it a bit.
Of
but,
course.
but one of the stories I've heard about Barnum was a time when he bought an elephant and had it shipped to America, to the docks. And then he told everybody, and I don't know if it was New York, I think it was New York, right? He told everybody he bought an elephant and they needed to come to the docks to see the elephant. What a spectacle. Something like 20,000 people or something like that, I don't know the exact number, showed up on the docks to see the elephant arrive. They kept him covered, let the nose poke out so that people could be interested. He paraded it through the city and to his museum. What a noise campaign. Now, he went through a lot of effort and a lot of work to create a noise campaign, and he didn't have the internet. His vehicle was the streets of New York and probably the newspaper, right? And so he used journalists and people that were writing columns in the daily news, and he got everybody to know he was bringing an elephant. Why? Who the heck knows? Did it have anything to do with the price of tea in China? No, but I'm sure he could have connected it because he was that kind of guy, right? So you can figure that was quite the noise campaign, and sure enough, it raised the sales on his museum that he wanted people to go to. So noise campaigns can be elaborate, or they can be as simple. Well, I say simple, it's not true, but as simple as telling your story. Okay, and sometimes having a nice, compelling story can be the correct noise campaign for your product. So there's a ton of things. It's only really limited by your creativity. So that's kind of a quick overview of VCVO. We love VCVO because it's easy to remember. Hey, do you have a VCVO system?
Or do you just have like a CVO?
Or do you have a
Or do you
CV,
have
or do
a
you have a
VO?
VO? Or do you
Or
have
do you have an O?
a V and an O, right? So many times we hear people come and they come to us and they're like, I'm doing Facebook ads. We're like, great, what do you have? And they're like, I have this offer. Okay, great. How are you going to sell it? And they're like,
Well, I
yeah,
was just gonna like run an ad.
I'm running Facebook ads to my offer.
To my website. A lot of times it's
to
that,
my
like-
website. Oh my goodness. That is the worst
Okay.
ever.
Sounds
Ugh,
good.
okay. All right. Yeah. So let's keep going.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, okay,
Oh boy.
we're into the wagon wheel. I'll keep MJ on the screen, but this is fun. This is putting all of those VCVOs together, because now the goal is that we want to create a whole machine, right? So that the last one that we just showed you, that was the strategy. So let's go back to this, because we got to show this again. Tactics, small system, strategy, medium-sized system, machine, global system. So when we look at a strategy, we're saying, you know what, this VCVO right here, okay, that's a strategy, and it has a lot of the core elements that we need, and it's a medium system, and it's great. It can do a lot of great things. We had our summit, we had a good noise vehicle, we had a Dream 100 happening, we did a really great campaign with them. We had our vehicle, which was our summit funnel, and then we had our offer, which was our VIP pass, and so there was money made on that. Now, it was a great strategy, but it was missing something. And what it was missing is that we had this thing going, but it didn't actually go to the core offer next.
Oops.
Yeah, so like it was like a great lead magnet, but it didn't go to the core offer here. And so, yeah, that's
We had so many hot buyers.
we did. Oh my gosh, it was
It's
the
the
stupidest
worst
we've
thing
done in our
ever.
whole
Like we
entire
look
life.
back and we had so many hot, not warm buyers,
Oh no, they
hot
were
buyers.
hot
They
buyers.
were ready to go sell us something,
Yeah, and
we dropped the ball.
we dropped the ball because we just
Oh.
like didn't see the other. It was like, no, that's a strategy. Like we did the strategy, we made money, and then we're like still going, how do we get a 2 Common Club award? How does that happen? Oh, well, maybe we should like run a webinar, or maybe we should do something else, right? Like, so there were a lot of problems there, but this wagon wheel is cool because now you can start to stack them. And that's something that I mentioned that we were going to be doing, is talking about how we can stack our systems. And this is what it looks like. We come in here and we can start to stack different systems. Now, does that mean you have to have all of these built out? No, not necessarily. I think the most important thing is that, okay, I have a VCVO and it's at least going to my core offer. Great. And then as you get bigger, you can start to add other VCVOs and you can start to add these other things. And that's why you start to see, you look at some of these bigger marketers out there, and you look at, we just use Russell, right? Because we're funnel builders, and so we'll use Russell. And you look at him and he builds this challenge.
Mhm.
And you're like, sick, that's really cool. I need to build a challenge. But the problem is, for a lot of people, unless you're understanding that and you're going, okay, yeah, I have my core offer and I know I'm going to lead it to that's great. But a lot of times people are looking at it and going, the challenge is my product. And so then they don't lead it to the next thing. And so you just go and do that thing. And then it's like the free plus funnel, and you do the free plus funnel and you have that VCVO that's working, but then you don't lead it to the core offer. And so that's where some of the problems come in.
To be clear, if you look at this, so let's say, well, let's take this one right here. So let's say you've got this VCVO offer. This right here could literally be your core
It could
offer,
be the core offer.
and that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
This is mostly just conceptual, because we'd never build out your system like that. They don't look like this when you build
We
them
have
as a
we have an
machine.
image of that.
They're usually a little more ratty and a little bit more like a tangled web, and like a rat's nest. You've heard that before. But when you show that rat's nest, and we'll show you a little later,
Nobody
but
wants to do that.
nobody wants to do that, right? We're Russell's goal was to make funnels sexy. Our goal is to make systems sexy, right? And that's really what we're after. We want to make systems sexy, because systems, good, solid, core principle marketing systems, that's sexy. When you're making money from 10 different ways, that's sexy.
Everybody wants to have like their different income, right? It's like the hot thing, like,
Right.
oh, I want income coming from this and this and this and this. Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely. But
So this is just a good conceptual one. This was a big epiphany for us along the way, when we started to realize, hey, you know, all roads, and you've heard this, all roads lead to Rome.
Yeah.
All roads lead to Rome. They started that, and that's why Rome was one of the biggest empires
Yeah.
in history, because they looked at it and they went, we're going to put Rome here. This is our core offer. And we are going to conquer, and we're going to conquer, and we're going to conquer. And everything comes back to us. Every road comes back to us. And they built out a spoke system. And so I want you to think of it. This is a great image, because in your mind, you can think, okay, this was my lead magnet. This was my webinar. This was my challenge. This was my free plus book offer, whatever it is. And some of the tactics, which is really cool, because we're not just saying that you can only have medium-sized strategies here. We're saying that this could literally be just a little lead magnet, or it could be just a little free offer. This could be your podcast. This could be your TikTok play for social media. Like, there's lots of different strategies. And remember earlier, we said this isn't linear. That's huge. You've got to remember that. Now, we used a circle just to try to help it get out, or at least a step away from being linear. But the truth of the matter is there might be something out here connecting to this spoke. There might be a little strategy that connects here, and then the process starts over again. And that's where it starts to get a little bit more complicated.
I think also the interesting part is, you know, your core offer could be whatever price point it is. And so you could be looking at one of those spokes and it's actually a higher ticket item than your core offer, but it's still leading back to Rome, right? And a lot of times, like, let's just take a software, for example. If your software is your core offer, and then you have this higher ticket program, well, that's one spoke that could be here, but the point is that you still want them to get into this core offer. It doesn't always work that way, but that's just, if you're going, well, what about that? That's an example.
And ironically, we can look at somebody like Russell, because we all know Russell.
Our classic example.
Well, I mean, we're in a familiar
Yeah.
space, familiar setting, right?
Yeah.
For Russell.
Yeah.
You look at his inner circle, and a lot of people might find or see his inner circle as the first thing they see,
Yeah.
because they're at the right stage in their business or their life to see that inner circle. And if they see the inner circle first, the inner circle actually leads them backwards down their value ladder.
Because they might.
Oops.
Oh.
Down the value.
What are you doing?
I want to go backwards.
Well,
I messed it up.
he doesn't use. He wanted, yeah, he doesn't use a Mac.
I don't do
guys.
Mac.
I have a Mac. He's not
Okay,
a Mac
so-
person. I'll touch it.
I do Big Macs too many times,
Okay.
but not really. Those
Uh,
will kill you.
yeah, they will cut you.
Well, but anyway, so his inner circle could and is intended to lead you back the other direction,
Yeah.
because he wants you to get ClickFunnels still. And some people that go into the inner circle don't have ClickFunnels, didn't have ClickFunnels in the
Yeah.
beginning. Now it's a little more normal than it used to be.
Well, and this could be like something like a membership too. A lot of people want, I feel like it's a very popular thing right now to build your business off of continuity.
Right.
And
that's
so
important.
you can look at it and go, well, no matter what, even if they got in from the top, like, I want to keep them as a customer. And so then if I can get them into a continuity program of some sort, then I still want to get them back to that. And that could be lower than if I got them in at 25,000 and my continuity is $100 a month, but I still want them to keep paying that. Right. And so that's the retention side of things in your
Well,
business.
that's a cool thing, like a little quick pro tip on that. Like, your memberships are going to have a very up and down sort of wave going to them. There are going
Yeah.
to be times where there's lots of people coming in. There's going to be times when there's people bailing. We all have heard, and if you haven't, then I'm excited to share with you. There's something called a churn rate. Your churn
Woo!
rate is how many people coming in compared to how many people are leaving. So your membership and your continuity is going to do this, but your membership makes it so that there is
At
some
least
time of a
some
consistent
consistency.
and consistent money and revenue coming in.
Yeah.
So you might still, on top of your membership, have another thing called a slack adjuster, essentially, that you're going to go and say, hey, I'm going to do a quick cash grab. Let me do this cool JV partnership, and we're going to do a challenge together. And that might bring a bunch of cash in, pay for the year to exist in your expenses, and then your membership keeps you steady, right? So that's why it's so important to have a system in place and or starting to build a system over time, because without it, it's just, you're all over the place with it. And you certainly don't want to live one slack adjuster to the next. That's
One
scary.
launch to the
One
next.
launch.
too.
That's what they
Yeah.
call a launch,
Yeah.
slack adjuster,
And
cash grab.
also with these VCBOs, like, sometimes you run them as a launch. initially, and then you can turn them evergreen. But you can see that system as an evergreen system, or you can see that system as a launch. A lot of times if somebody's, just coming in and they're just building out a product, well, we're going to run this as a launch then.
Right.
And then we're going to look at it and we're going to go, okay, what can we do to consistently make that happen and turn that evergreen afterwards? So.
All right,
can
let's dig
be
into some
both.
systems.
Yeah, you got a little sneak peek
Mhm.
into this OLE system.
We love frameworks,
Yeah.
right? Systems, processes, frameworks.
Yeah.
They're our friend. They're your friend too. You should have them. So we have this cool little framework that that is basically just an acronym. We call it our OLE systems. And this is a great overview for us to talk about three of the main systems from a bird's eye view. that
Yeah,
we need to have.
this is like bigger picture,
Yeah, we're
right? So
backing
we've got VCBO, which is like the small version of it, but now we're looking at it from the bigger perspective and going, okay, we need this type of system and we need this type of system, and we can use VCBO to make sure that all of the elements are in there and all those marketing principles are in there. So, okay, you want me to go with this? Okay, I'll go with this first.
I'll do the next one.
Perfect. So we have three different types of systems that we want to have. We have our operating system, we have our lead generation systems, and we have our evaluation systems. And I guess it's not necessarily system. There could be multiple systems, but initially we want to have our operating system, just one, and we want to have a lead gen system, and we want to have an evaluation system. And just a little disclaimer, these systems can and do overlap. And so this is just ease of learning, right? We're chunking it down, we're making it smaller, and it's just so it's ease. But everything can always get more complicated. We can always overcomplicate it, but this is just.
You may
let's
know
break
that
it
already.
right. Okay, so let's jump into the next one. So what is an operating system? Your operating system is the most important piece of your machine. Without all the different OLE systems, this would be useless. The operating system houses the background systems that make everything tick, and the front-facing systems that can be seen from the outside. Your operating system usually will start small, but it will continue to grow and morph as you add more and more necessary pieces to grow your business. I think you better talk about that a little bit more.
Let's go to the next one.
Oh, I guess.
So let's dive deep.
Okay. Michael,
I was prepared.
You were prepared. I guess I forgot what was on the next slide. My bad.
I was like, oh, good. You said I could talk about it more.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So let's dive into this. These are the necessary components in your operating system. Now, just as a metaphor for you to think about, your operating systems like your iOS or your Windows operating system, there is a whole lot of things going on behind the scenes, behind the curtains that you don't know about unless you're a programmer of some sort. But what you do have is you have the behind the scenes actions.
Yeah, we just see what happens, right? Like I turn
That's
on the
it.
phone and I open it
And it
I
works.
see-
And that's
it
it.
works. It's good to go.
But on the front, you have things like your apps and the little icons that you can double click. Everybody calls them apps now, but they used to be called icons back in the day. Back in my day, they were icons, and we double clicked and we waited for 6 minutes while the internet browser opened.
That's a thing?
That was a thing, yeah. I had to go to the library to use.
Did you really?
internet. Yeah. When I was in college, yeah, you go to the library, dial up. It was exciting, right?
That's when you called somebody.
Oh, yeah.
You heard, like,
Yeah, you're like, can
For
you-
real?
Yeah,
That's what
for sure.
happened?
"We're off the internet."
I'm a
Yeah.
baby.
Right, well,
That's exactly it, right?
That's
So your operating system,
that's funny.
while these OLE systems are not necessarily
What did her dial up internet?
Oh, yeah, baby. But while these operating systems, these three systems aren't necessarily, again, in a linear order, you do need all of them. And we'll give you our suggestion as to why we're talking about operating systems first.
Yeah.
First of all, we've talked about VCVO. So we led you in with that. Great marketing always has this for each strategy being executed within the operating system. And usually multiple strategies,
It's
the bigger you
are.
grow, right? So the bigger you grow, you're going to have more strategies in there, and more roads lead to Rome. Therefore, more gold can come back to Rome. That's what we want. Now, the next component that's important is flow. And this is huge. I mean, for us, being able to look at people's systems and see where their flow issues are really can make a huge difference. Clear paths leading from one VCO strategy to the next, clear customer journeys in your your value ladder as they ascend, and clear buying processes. This flow is massively important as you start to dig into your systems and understand where the holes are and what's going on.
As we got better and better, it became more of a flow issue, right? So there was like, and I think that probably happens for a lot of people. You start and you don't have like any VCBO, or you have a VC, or you have a VE, or you have a VO, right? And so you have that thing happening, and then it's like, okay, now I've got a VCBO, and that's where our summit hit, right? Because we had a VCBO, and then the next problem was flow was not there,
Right.
and so I
Didn't
think,
connect to anything.
yeah, it didn't connect to anything.
There's
at that
no
point.
ascension, right?
Yep.
So then the next issue in this, or the next component you need is a tech component.
Yeah.
Now, nowadays, we're so spoiled because we have so many softwares. There's software coming out by the day. I mean, I make it a point to buy the first round of a software every
So
time
you
I
can
see
get the
it. So you can
beta.
get the beta and you get it in for cheap or whatever, But great software is there to aid and automate repeated tasks. And that's
And it's
the
just kind of
thing,
fun.
right? When you have a system, you have something that you might manually have to do at first, which is okay and highly suggested. And then you might start looking for the software. Now, sometimes we can shortcut that with things like ClickFunnels. You automate that software. You use a funnel to make things easier. You use sales, prospecting systems. You use statistics software. Software to make things easier. So we're looking at those operating system softwares that can help turn your one person worth of effort into 10. And that's the way you grow, and that's how you can scale. And it goes from editing to media, etc. Right?
I think the interesting part is sometimes people get in with the tech,
yeah,
right? People will get in with the tech, and so then they don't actually understand how to use the tech. And in our brain, it's like, okay, let's understand the strategy, let's understand the flow, then we talk about the tech.
Right.
And sometimes the tech isn't even necessary, but people are going, I need to
I've got to have all this tech stack.
My favorite is when people say, I need a ClickFunnel. I'm like, what? You need a ClickFunnel? You are so confused. Like,
Right.
It's a funnel, and ClickFunnels is the brand, but you don't need a ClickFunnel. That's my favorite saying. When they say that, I'm like, oh,
that's some good marketing by Russell.
That is some good
That is some good
marketing.
marketing.
Yeah.
Kleenex,
Right.
That's exactly
Right.
That's when you know you started to be the category.
Oh
king,
my
right?
goodness. I'm always amazed by that, actually.
It's good stuff.
What will people, what will they say for us if we can do such good marketing?
When we're the category king in
Yeah.
systems.
I don't know what it's going to be,
I don't know.
but that'd be.
Jared will think of some.
I
Yeah, I need a
to.
choreographer.
Yeah, I don't
for
know.
my marketing. Yeah.
I want somebody to say I need a ClickFunnel. Maybe they heard the rap song.
That's true. That was funny.
Oh,
Yeah. So
goodness.
your tools, your tech is important, and it's an important part of running a system.
Yeah.
Without the tools, without your tech, it's going to be challenging. Now, I said tech, but it could also include VAs. I mean,
Yeah,
they're essentially a type of tech for you. They're taking the work that you did, that you figured out, and now they're running it for you so you can replicate yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, and then lastly, follow-up. There will always be follow-up. It is one of our marketing commandments. There will always be follow-up. And what kind of follow-up? There will be intense and relentless follow-up for everything from paid to free to no. There will be follow-up. And I mean, talk about mindset, because we talk about mindset a lot. This is a big mindset issue that we deal with a lot with our clients. They're like, you really want us to send 12 emails after the webinar? Yes.
Yeah, please
yes, we do. Like they were looking at your email. They dropped the phone in the toilet and they forgot they were looking at your email.
Who wants to follow up and get the money? LOL. I know, fortunes in the follow up.
And that's one of my favorite sayings, which I thought came from one of our mentors, but then I found out he got it from his mentor.
You thought it came from Frank, but it came from
Dan.
Everything comes from Dan.
I know everything.
It's unreal. Everything comes from Dan Kennedy. I'm like,
the guy is ridiculous.
I went back and read Magnetic Marketing.
Oh my gosh.
And there was a quote in it, and I was like, oh, I thought that came from Frank. That came from Dan. It's
Well,
unreal.
Frank came from there.
I know. Now that I know that, I had no
Yeah.
idea. I didn't
Crazy.
realize that.
How
but
many?
Frank is literally just Dan. And then you look at Russell and you're like, oh,
Well, Dan's an old dude.
yeah, it's crazy.
What do they say? They say the fortune's in the follow-up,
Yeah.
and email them until they buy or they die.
That's what the saying was. It's from Dan.
It's from Dan.
But
Yeah.
Frank says it all the
Oh,
time.
I thought it was Frank all these years.
Yeah.
Email them until they buy or they die.
die.
And honestly, the mindset side of it is huge. I'll just stop on that for just a second.
Yeah.
The mindset behind that is people are busy and they don't care about you, but they do care about the solution that you're offering them. That's why they raised their hand and bought into your lead magnet or your free
Yeah.
thing. They do care about it, but they care about it when they care about it. And anytime other than the time that they care about it, they don't care about it, which I know sounds really confusing, but is really profound, which means that they might be looking at your, it might be the husband out with his wife grocery shopping, and he's looking at your email. As you're walking through the store, he looks over to the left. His kid is putting a candy bar in their pocket. He's like, no, wait, don't put that. They're going to think you're shoplifting, right? He puts the phone away. He doesn't think about it. They go check out. And that's it. That was the end. That was the end of your email, even though he cared about it, even though he was reading it, even though it was a solution he wanted. It is your responsibility. It is your responsibility to email them again until they take action. And the argument straight away with so many people is, but what if they unsubscribe? I said, save the half a penny that
Hallelujah.
you're spending on sending them the email and let them go. Because guess what? If they were interested in it the first time and they unsubscribe because you're sending emails, they're going to see you again. And when they see you again, they'll subscribe again.
And then they'll be back on your
and
list.
then they'll be back on your
And
list.
then they'll probably unsubscribe again.
It's okay. But most of the time, you just don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
Quit spending your time on the people that are unsubscribing and spend your time on the people that are staying on your list. They need you, they want you, and they really, really want you to send an email again.
Can you see the training in the back? Sorry.
They really want you to send an email again so that they will remember to take action. Let's go to the next
That's why you should sell the phone.
one. That's right.
There you go.
Okay, so what's the lead gen system?
All right, my turn.
Yeah.
Okay, lead gen system, built for advertising and lead capture activities. We often refer to this first piece of, wow, that's good, of this as noise making. There are many strategies for generating leads, from paid to organic and combinations in between. Your lead gen system will connect directly to your operating system and have crossover elements. Lead gen is what will fill your business. I'm going to stop right there. You can keep reading if you want, but we put it second, right? Because we said OLE, but we put it second because sometimes people will start with their lead gen system and there's no operating system behind it. There's nothing to actually get people to it. And so they're spending money, they're doing all of these cool lead gen ideas, but then there's no money recovered because there's no operating system. And so we like to start with the operating system first. Of course, before that, you got to know what your product is. You got to know who you're selling to. All that good stuff has to be there. But when we're looking at it, we're going, okay, we've got our operating system. That's what's going to happen behind the scenes. And then we can start putting lead gen in front of it. So can I move on from that? Cool. So we have different types of lead gen that we can do. I'll talk about it just a little bit and then you can go more into that.
You take it.
Cool.
Go.
Okay. So we've got organic strategies that we can run. We have paid, we have partnership, and we've got the branding side of things. I'll probably let you talk about the branding side of things just a little bit. But when we look at organic, organic is always good to have. It's always good because you never know what's going to happen with the paid side of things. You never know if Facebook's going to shut you down and shut your ad accounts down and all that good stuff. That's always fun when that happens. That happened this week. So that was fun.
You have been permanently disabled.
Oh, fun. What did we do? Dang it. That was fun. So it's always just good to have the organic side of things. And of course, when it's organic, it's typically free leads. So that's good, unless you have somebody that's like running your system and and we have that side of things too. Where you have
Everything can always be paid.
Yeah, everything can always be paid, right? But you can have organic, you can have paid, you can do JV deals with people and have partnerships, and that's ways that you can get leads in. You want to talk about the branding side of things?
Yeah, branding is an interesting one. I couldn't help but think that there's some confusion about branding. We put this on the list because branding, some people's expertise is branding, but their expertise is not marketing. And so then they'll try to convince you that branding is like the most ridiculous, important thing ever. Branding is definitely a piece of the system, and there's no doubt about it, but it is one of the more difficult pieces of the system to actually connect to a direct marketing principle. What do I mean by direct marketing? That means you put $1 in, you get 2 out, right?
That was so good, huh?
It's like we've done this before.
It's like we've just done this presentation.
But the thing is that it's a general marketing principle. What do I mean by general marketing? I mean, if you went to college and you took a marketing class, they taught you general marketing. What were they prepping you for? To be a minion in a very large company that was going to throw $1 million at their marketing department, which shouldn't be a department. It should be connected to everything in the company. But then they go out and they throw money at the wall. I call it spaghetti because that's how you check to see if spaghetti is ready, right? You take one out, throw it against the wall. If it sticks, it's ready. If it falls
Do
down,
people like literally do that?
I've done it.
I mean,
Okay, I literally taught my daughter to do that a couple of weeks ago, and my wife was mortified. She came with my daughter's throwing spaghetti at the wall. She's like, "What are you doing?"
That's so
But
gotta try it.
yeah, I mean, it does work when it's ready. It will stick. But
I thought it was
a silly. Well, that's
I think it was the wall.
Yeah,
My father
what?
used to have a pasta restaurant. He does that.
Really?
yeah, really.
That's
See,
so
real
cool.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I learned it from a Sicilian, so
There you go.
There you
go.
go.
I had to be real.
Okay.
You just don't ask if it is or isn't when you're talking to a Sicilian.
Okay.
Okay, so so the fact of the matter is that is branding something you need? Yes. Do you want to run branding like a big corporation or big company would run branding? No, because you likely aren't going to have a product on the shelf at Walmart where somebody has to walk in, look at 10 products that are identical, do the same thing. They're just different companies, and they have to recognize your product and go, I'm going to choose that one. That's what the big general marketing companies are doing it for. They're trying to get you to recognize them so much so and have some sort of connection to them that you'll choose their product on the shelf instead of the other company's product. Now, we aren't doing that most of the time. And those companies, ironically, are starting to change back. They're starting to look at it and go, we want a 1-to-2 ratio. Let's start doing some of that direct marketing stuff because this other stuff is for the birds, right? But do you need to brand? Yeah, over time, maybe build it over time. But if it is your primary strategy right now to try to get a 1-to-2 ratio, work on the other 3. They work way better and they're easier to track.
Yeah. So
it's having this perfect branding, build it as you go. Don't put too much effort into it because it's a lot of time consuming action that isn't easily trackable. And so, pick some colors, choose a logo, be done with it. Like don't do the other billboard junk. Okay.
Okay, that leads us into an evaluation system.
Don't get too happy here.
I love
This is her favorite
I
part.
do. I love being able to track things. It's one of my favorite things. And it was one of the biggest things that we were missing in the beginning is we weren't tracking anything. So that was pretty bad. But it's good to actually track your numbers and to have a whole evaluation system set up. You should have your KPIs. You should know what those are and you should track them every single day, every single morning. I send a text to Michael and I tell him all of our numbers because I think it's really, really important. And it's just made such a difference in our business when we're coming and going, okay, like we always heard, you should look at how many people are joining your list every day, and like just never had a system for that. And the minute that we did, it was like, oh, that makes such a difference, right? So it's like, okay, how many lists, how many sales calls, how many people are joining the webinar, how many people did you sell today, how many people are in the program, like it's just good to track all of those things.
And you can
to
keep
know
a
what's
KISS
going-
method for the beginning. Just have have a system,
Yeah.
what's the KISS method? Keep
Keep
it
it
simple.
simple, stupid.
That's the original.
We-
version. We call it keep
We
it
have a
stupid
show
simple.
with within our Facebook group, and we say keep it stupid simple. Our show is called the
The
KISS
KISS
show.
show.
So, yeah. Anyway. So an evaluation system is super, super important. Remember what you focus on grows. Like,
Wait, before.
oh, I'm sorry. What do you,
Oh,
now
see,
I'm
now
messing
you're
it
doing
up.
it.
Okay, sorry. What were you
Oh,
gonna
we're going into the next page.
say? Okay, good. What are you doing?
Sorry, you.
Okay, so.
I'm Tweedledee.
Tweedledum. So. I guess. So the necessary components in your evaluation system, well, we can have a really basic version of it where you just have it on a spreadsheet and you're good to go. Or you can get more complex and you can have really intense softwares that will track it more in depth, and it's really up to you. Basically, have it on a spreadsheet, look at it every day so we can see what's growing. And when you have an operating system set up and you have a lead gen system set up, then you actually have numbers to track, which is really cool. When you don't have those things set up, then there's actually no numbers to track, and that's a big problem. If you have like 0 on all of your stuff, well, we know there's a problem. We should probably get some other systems and things in play. So that's the fast version of the evaluation system. Do you want to add anything to it?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
The thing is you can get in depth, and there's 100,000 different softwares out there that will get in depth and dig into the statistical nerdiness that the statisticians love about one little topic. There are companies out there that specialize in this. And when is the right time to do that? Well, I'll say the right time to do that is when you can afford to do it. And on the flip side, I can say it just the reverse. The right time to do it is when you can't afford not to. Right? When you're looking at your system and you already know your basic numbers and you're looking to amplify what it is you're doing. And that's when you start implementing some of the crazy, sick, cool softwares. Now, some of you out there are going, well, I have this software and it's really cool. Well, maybe you're just a numbers evaluation person, and that's cool if that's your thing. You can implement that however you'd like. But the fact of the matter is that you can just build a nice, pretty spreadsheet that has the numbers you need and that pulls the numbers from the places you need it. And you can get away with just going after your KPIs, and that will grow your business massively for a while. And there's a time and a place. So don't worry about the in-depth stuff unless you're there and then that point.
Yeah, I think the important part is that you have something to track.
Yeah.
And so when you have those other things, you can come in and you can have your evaluation system in place. And that's really, 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 really important. Okay. This was from a little bit earlier.
We wanted to connect it back because
Yeah, just connect it back a bit and show you like, okay, when we're looking at a VCBO, this is probably what's happening behind the scenes. And so you look at, I think this is Jim Edwards' webinar that he has. And so you
just one VCBO.
Yeah, that's just one VCBO that's happening. And this is all of the background that's happening behind the scenes to actually make that thing work. Right. And then up here we have, this is what we call the choreography machine. And this is a bunch of VCBOs. And you can see right there, we've got the wagon wheel there.
That's just a piece of our system.
Yeah, that's just a
There's
piece.
only so much you
right.
can fit on a whiteboard.
Yeah, but this is what no one really wants to tell you, but is probably what's happening behind the scenes. A VCBO is broken down into all of these things, and that's where a lot of people get overwhelmed. But that's where we always like to come in and go, okay, let's break this down. Let's get all of the details in place, because I absolutely love the details of everything that's happening. And we, through all of our different funnels that we built, like we figured out the individual tactics that needed to happen. We get all of that side of things, but it's fun when you start to look at all of those details and figure out how to connect it all, and good times.
So there's this, just a quick story to finish this off before we go to the next thing.
Okay.
The interesting thing is the power of systems and the machine is incredible, right? So the story goes like this. There was a boiler maker, And he had this huge factory. They were building all this stuff, and he was using these boilers in his factory. And the factory was producing some crazy amount of millions of dollars a day, right? So as long as it was running, it was producing its product at about $1 million a day. Well, one day, the machine, the factory machine, halted to a stop. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's running around trying to figure out what's going on. The owner finally finds this guy that can fix the machine, the overall whole of the machine. He calls him up. The guy runs over. He looks around the factory for 10, 15 minutes, finds the thing, takes out a tool, turns a couple things, and the machine kicks back to life. And they're good, right? The guy goes away, and the boss says, well, send me an invoice. So about a week later, the invoice comes in. The invoice says $1 million. And the owner flips out. He flips out and goes, $1 million. I want you to get that guy here now. Somebody get him in my office. I want to talk to him. This is ridiculous. $1 million. He wasn't even here for 15 minutes. So they call him up. The guy comes in the next day, casually walks in, sits down. He goes, I want you to explain this invoice. What makes you think you can charge me $1 million? He says, okay. He goes, what would you like? And he goes, I want an itemized invoice, not just the line item. I want an itemized invoice of this bill. He goes, no problem. I'll get it to you later tonight. The invoice comes in and it says $999,000 and or all the way to the dollar mark, right? It was $1 short of $1 million. And then it had $1. $1 was for actually just turning the right knobs. So $1 turning the right knobs. That $999,999 was for knowing which knobs to turn. Boss paid it, right? Because they were losing millions of dollars for that machine not working. It's so important. The reason I say that is because when you look at a page like this, when you look at the machines and the systems behind that are making this thing tick, and you're looking at your business and you're going, holy cow, this thing could either be generating $1 million or it is holding us back, or it is not making money.
Or it's not created.
It's not created,
There
or
could
it's
be
not
this.
created, right? Having somebody that actually can come in and take a look at your system and all of the systems and how they integrate with each other, how they work together is imperative.
Okay. Oh, wow. Hello.
It's you.
It's me. He added this. I did not see this slide. Okay. So
It's Michael approved.
it's Michael approved apparently. Okay, this is our little pitch for you guys.
It's
But
just little.
yeah, we'll do little. We're not gonna do a full on stack. Like we won't go that direction today.
We'll spare you the
Um,
stack for this evening.
Yeah, we'll
If you
spare
don't
you.
know a stack that goes in your system somewhere,
Yeah,
we can talk about it.
but
later.
we'll spare you that. But what does that say? This is in the way. System.
Holes.
Oh, system holes analysis call. We are very good at finding the holes in people's systems or figuring out if they don't have any thing at all. So if you'd like to meet with us one-on-one to help you analyze your current marketing systems and figure out the holes, you can book a free call, and we would love to jump on with you. Where we probably, if it is the right fit, try to sell you probably. But
There's a catch. If it's not the right fit,
we will not
we will not
you.
sell you.
If we can't help you, we will not sell you.
Absolutely.
But if you would like to get that analysis and to have somebody look at it, because we will legit give you that analysis. It's not like we're going to say it's a system analysis call and then not do that. Like we are literally going to do that, and you're going to get a lot of benefit from that. And then if it is a fit and we can help you and you want further help with that, then we can tell you the options that we have for that. And we have different programs, all that good stuff, one-on-one, and we can help you build out your system, or we can help you tweak it and map that out. So if you would like to do that, marketingchoreo.com/call, and we would love to jump on a call with you. For those of you, I know this is a recording, for those of you that are here, we have some action items. Well, I guess this is for everybody, right? But for those of you that are here, we would like to do a little bit of workshop if you would like to do it. if you don't, that's cool too. But we usually spend a day with people, and that's 10 to 25,000. So I'll just throw that in there. But if you want to workshop it, we can. But if you're not here and you want to go and do something, here's something that you can go and do. I love to give action items at the end of everything that we do. So one, you can create one BCBO system, right? That
Start to finish.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, you can create one, and this can be for a free thing. This can be for a paid thing, whatever it is that you want to create. I had somebody that I talked to the other day, and she said, I just want to get people on my list right now. I said, okay, great. So let's create something that's going to get somebody to a lead magnet. And so she set that up. And so she got her V, she got her C, she got her V, she got her O, right? And she got all of those things in there. And it was simply to a lead magnet. It was great. That's great, right? Now you have this VCBO that is set up. And it was such a great start because she had those 4 elements in there. And so there was a higher possibility of it succeeding now. There's other things and there's other factors that could make it so it didn't, but
she was adding that to connect it to a system she had already built of other VCBOs, which is super powerful.
Yeah, for sure. And then if you want to get even more ambitious, you can start to look at your wagon wheel. And if you are the person that already has a bunch of systems in place, then start to think about it in that wagon wheel and go, oh, okay, like I've got this thing going to this, and make sure that it is indeed getting to your core offer. Are you indeed, once they go through your lead magnet, do you have a good system in place that is leading them to that thing? Or is that lacking and something's wrong in that? Or do you want to change it up? And so just you can start to look at your wagon wheel and start to look at those spokes. So those are your action items. Is there another slide on here?
Just the
Oh yeah. So
workshop.
we can workshop for a bit if you'd like, but that is the presentation.
I love it.
Awesome.
rock and roll.
I'll keep recording here, but then we can do whatever.
Yeah, for sure. We can do whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah.